My wife told me he was just a coworker. She said I was insecure. She said I was imagining things. But one night, I saw a message on her phone that changed everything. And what I did next destroyed 2 marriages in less than 24 hours. I'm 32 years old. My wife is 29. We had been married for 4 years. About 6 months ago, she started talking about a new guy from work. His name was Mark. At first, it sounded harmless. Mark is funny. Mark helped me with a project. Mark understands me. But slowly, his name started coming up every single day. She smiled at her phone more, turned the screen away when I walked into the room, started taking longer showers, working late more often. When I asked about it, she laughed. She told me I was paranoid. She told me I needed to trust her. And I wanted to. I really did. Until last Friday. She fell asleep on the couch. Her phone lit up next to her. I wasn't planning to look, but I saw his name, Mark. And the message preview said, "I can't stop thinking about last night." My stomach dropped. She never changed her password. So I opened the phone. What I found wasn't flirting. It wasn't emotional cheating. It was a full-blown affair. Photos, explicit messages, plans to meet again, jokes about how I would never find out. And the worst part, she told him she felt trapped with me, that I was boring, that she deserved something exciting. I didn't wake her up. I didn't yell. I didn't confront her. Instead, I took screenshots of everything, every message, every photo, every plan. Because if they wanted to play games, I was about to change the rules. Here's what she didn't know. Mark was married too, and his wife had a public social media profile. The next morning, I went to work like nothing happened. Calm, quiet, focused. That night, I sent his wife everything. All the screenshots, all the proof, no explanation, just the truth. 2 hours later, my phone exploded. Mark had been kicked out of his house. His wife confronted him immediately. Apparently, she didn't think I was overreacting. When my wife got home, she was in tears. She tried to blame me. She said I violated her privacy. But I looked at her and said, "I thought he was just a coworker." I filed for divorce the next week. Mark's wife did the same. And the relationship they risked everything for? It lasted 3 weeks. 3. Turns out, affairs feel exciting in secret, but they don't survive reality. 6 months later, I'm happier. Not because it didn't hurt, it did, but because I stopped ignoring the red flags, and I stopped letting someone make me feel crazy for trusting my instincts. So tell me, was I wrong for exposing them, or was that just karma doing its job? What goes around always finds its way back, and sometimes it ends up in the vault. The divorce process moved faster than I expected. Once the evidence was out, there was no going back. She tried to apologize. She cried. She said it was a mistake. But here's the thing about mistakes. You don't plan them for months. You don't hide them. You don't joke about them behind someone's back. Mark's situation got worse. Apparently, his wife found even more messages after I sent the screenshots. Private jokes about both of us. Plans to eventually leave their marriages when the timing was right. That part hurt. Not because I lost her, but because she had already mentally left long before I found out. Mark was forced to transfer offices. Workplace policies don't look kindly on affairs that explode publicly, especially when HR gets involved. Funny how quickly just coworkers turns into a documented liability. My ex moved in with her sister, and the exciting relationship she risked everything for, it didn't survive real life. Without secrecy, without lies, without adrenaline, they lasted 3 weeks. 3 weeks. About 2 months after the divorce was finalized, she called me. Not to argue, not to blame me, to apologize. For real this time. She said Mark wasn't who she thought he was. She said once the secrecy disappeared, so did the chemistry. Turns out, when two people bond over betrayal, there's nothing solid underneath. She told me she felt stupid. She told me she lost everything for something that wasn't even real. And for the first time, I believed her. But that didn't mean I wanted her back. Some doors don't close slowly. They slam shut. And once they do, you don't reopen them just because someone regrets their choice. When I posted my story online, the reactions were split. Some people said, "You did the right thing. Cheaters deserve exposure." Others said, "You should have just divorced quietly." One comment stood out. It said, "She didn't cheat because you were lacking. She cheated because she was." That one stayed with me. Another person wrote, "Affairs feel romantic until they have to survive daylight." And honestly, that might be the most accurate thing anyone said. 6 months later, my life feels calm, stable, peaceful. And I learned something important. If someone constantly makes you feel crazy for noticing red flags, you're probably just paying attention. Trust isn't built by words, it's built by consistency. So tell me, if you were in my position, would you have exposed them? Or would you have walked away quietly? Because in the end, what goes around always comes back. And sometimes, it ends up in the vault. Here's another story that proves karma never forgets. This one isn't about marriage, it's about work. And a boss who thought he was untouchable. I worked at a small marketing company for 3 years. Underpaid, overworked, but loyal. My manager, let's call him Daniel, loved control. He micromanaged everything, checked timestamps on emails, criticized people in meetings, took credit for ideas that weren't his. At first, I ignored it. I needed the job. But things escalated. One day, I pitched a campaign idea to the team. Daniel said it was too risky. 2 weeks later, he presented the exact same idea to upper management, word for word, and claimed it as his own. The campaign succeeded. Big time. He got a bonus. I got silence. That's when I stopped being loyal. I started documenting everything. Every email, every timestamp, every shared file with creation history. I didn't plan revenge. I planned protection. 3 months later, something unexpected happened. Upper management announced an internal audit. Apparently, there were complaints about leadership behavior. Suddenly, Daniel wasn't so confident anymore. He started acting nervous, short-tempered, paranoid. One afternoon, HR called me in. They asked a simple question. Have you ever experienced or witnessed unethical behavior from your manager? And for the first time, I didn't stay quiet. I handed them everything. Email chains showing original drafts, time-stamped documents proving authorship, messages where he dismissed ideas, only to present them later as his own. I didn't exaggerate. I didn't lie. I just showed the truth. 2 weeks later, Daniel was terminated. No dramatic goodbye, no announcement, just gone. The company sent an email about leadership restructuring. That was it. Here's the ironic part. Upper management offered me his position temporarily while they searched for a replacement. And within 3 months, they made it permanent. The same ideas he stole, I implemented them properly, with credit shared across the team. Morale improved, results improved, and the office atmosphere changed overnight. Daniel tried reaching out to me once. He said I destroyed his career, but I didn't. His behavior did. Karma doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it just shows up in an HR meeting and signs the termination papers.